Here we go.
You should be watching.
Alright, so on May 9th, we got the word that Tamashii Nations with the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball line is going to have a collab with the Dragon Ball Legends mobile game, right? And this is something I never thought would happen, right? And I was super excited, but you know what? We're going to just get into the figure. Alright, S.H.Figuarts Shallot. I'm going to go through the pictures real quick. Fairly basic figure in terms of, you know, what it comes with, right? But they took the wind out of my sails. So obviously the pre-orders are open, and obviously we're going to get to the, what does this thing come with, right? The main body, of course. Interchangeable left and right hands times 3 types. Interchangeable expression part. Normal form head parts. Normal form interchangeable expression parts. Interchangeable tail parts. Alright, cool. Fine, right? There's no reason this release should be $90, but I understand why it's $90, and that's what took the wind out of my sails. You don't know how happy I was when I found out that this figure was going to be made, because I didn't think it was going to be made, because Dragon Ball Legends had been out for so long now, and I was like, you know, all these anniversaries passing by, I'm like, I guess it's just not going to tap into that, you know, part of the fandom or what have you. But behold, here we are. And it's $90. Now, of course, brand new mold, everything, but that doesn't really mean anything. Daima Goku and Daima Vegeta are $35 at a brand new mold. Ultimate Gohan, when he was from Superhero, when he first dropped, $35, right? And I try not to harp on the price thing too much nowadays, because it just kind of is what it is. But this one, it hit me a little bit harder, because this is an actual grail for me. Both of them. Giblet and Shallot. I'm going to get to Giblet in a bit. And also, this is scheduled to deliver January 2026, right? So the top of next year. And with all this comes with, this is not a $90 figure. And I think the figure looks great, but this is not a $90 figure. Now, my mind immediately went racing, like, why is it so much? But really, it's simple. This is a character that's kind of on a more obscure side of the fandom, and relative to other characters that people want, right? Like Perfect Cell is a good example. Gogeta is another great example, right? But I noticed that they tend to stuff that's more obscure and things of that nature. And he's a Saiyan Cell, I always say that. The novelty of this character is what I think makes it why they're pricing it at this point. But also, we have Precedents, right? The Precedents is this. Let's go to the Dragon Ball section real quick. The main section. We're going to just look at the price. Look, that's the Precedents right there. Daima Goku Super Saiyan 4 Mini. That figure is $70. So if they can make a miniature figure $70, who's to say that they can't take something like Shallot? Wait, I was about to say Cooler is still up. No, he's not. But if they could take a miniature figure, imagine what they could charge for like a regular size figure, and it's on premium Bandai. So it's automatically the price point is gonna be, hey, like I said, charge $70 for this. Imagine what you could charge for a regular size figure. But then we get to Giblet. Giblet is $110. Now all the same things apply that I said about Shallot to Giblet, which is, alright, I guess it's the novelty of the character, and the, you know, this is a more obscure release, and it's premium Bandai that hikes this price up to no end, right? And this would have been a nice release, because people would have, I could see some people buying it just because, oh, another Saiyan to add to the collection, and they look pretty cool, right? But not cool enough for somebody to spend over $100. And let's see what Giblet comes with, right? Same delivery month as Shallot. Specifications. All right, you get the main body. Okay, he has more hands than Shallot. Interchangeable expression parts, normal form. Interchangeable head parts, normal form. Interchangeable expression parts. Exchangeable. I say interchangeable. Exchangeable head parts. The cape or the jacket that he wears, the cloak, what have you. And then he comes with the interchangeable hand parts for left and right for Shallot, and we're gonna get to that in a bit. Interchangeable Shallot head parts for the God form, so Super Saiyan God Shallot. But here's, let's finish going through these pictures. Like I said, these figures look great, but $110? No sir. But I say that, but if I end up getting it, that's very hypocritical. And that's what sucks, right? Because I really, like I said, this is a grail for me. Both of these guys are grails for me. And we're going to talk about this picture right here in a second. And there's nowhere else I could get this figure unless I'm going to do some serious customizing, which I could hypothetically do. But truth be told, if I'm going to be doing customizing, I want to do like original characters. Like or fan fiction that I know will never ever be made, you know? And I feel like this wouldn't be an issue if Tamashii had, like, say for example, Revoltech doing Dragon Ball figures. Now they would have to watch out because Revoltech to keep them on their toes because they have the official license, you know? Now you could say third party is a competition, but not really. It's not competition if I could literally file a lawsuit and get you out of here. My thing is, at this point, I just don't think Tamashii cares enough to get third party out of here, but I digress. You know, I've complained enough about the price points. It's kind of like it took a lot of the hype out for me. And this is the second time this happened. The other figure that did this to me was that they did this with was Metal Cooler. Metal Cooler was a grail for me, but 120. It's like, bruh, come on, man. Either way, I'll end up with this for the, you know, as far as like complaining about the price, because like I said, if I'm going to complain and then end up getting it anyways, then what am I really saying? I'm not, in these situations, I'm acknowledging the hypocrisy, but in these type of situations, we gotta, if it matters to you, like the price point and things, you gotta vote with your dollars. You know, you gotta put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. But either way, another reason why the price points for these bother me so much is, once again, it's setting a precedence. These are obscure characters, relatively speaking, right guys? So imagine what they would charge for suppressed Super Saiyan Broly. Imagine. That's why I get like, oh my goodness. Don't let them include that chair. You might end up getting, Broly could end up being like $150 figure like King Cole. No joke. Because 1, they know Broly is box office. 2, Broly is a larger figure. 3, he'll be coming with that chair. All these things, the popularity, plus the size of the figure. We already know that bigger figures will automatically cost a little bit more. And we seeing what they doing with regular size figures like these. So I can only imagine certain characters like Broly. They know he box office. They know people will spend top dollar for Broly. Imagine the price point for that. Now, I'm hoping that's not the case, right? But just imagine that price point. You know? And it's sad to say, but like a lot of people will spend that money for it because it's Broly. Understandably so. Broly is a huge part of a lot of people's childhood and whatnot. So, you know, this is... just... Alright, off of that, let me get back to the picture, right? So clearly here, on this picture, they're teasing the fusion. And if you don't know, the fusion is Shallot. So instead of Shallot, Shallot. Just replace the O with the E. When that will drop, I don't know. But I do know this. When Shallot actually drops, that's gonna be interesting because all third party has to do to get the alley-oop off of that is make a bunch of Gogeta head sculpts. And you're done. So, with the advent of Shallot being dropped, you know, people are gonna go crazy with the Gogeta. Absolutely. Third party if any, all third parties could jump on that bandwagon. Just make a Gogeta head sculpt and you're done. The body is already there. And it will be on the most updated tech that Tamashii decides to use, you know? I guess the last thing I'll say is the Super Saiyan God head sculpts for both look great. My thing is, and we're gonna go back to Shallot. Now I feel like I need to make that emphasis since the fusion in Shallot and Shallot are so similar. Either way, point being is this, right? The Super Saiyan blue hair, I was gonna say is inaccurate, but that's not true. The Super Saiyan blue hair is accurate, but it's not the hair that I wanted them to do in terms of the styling. I wanted them to use the hair that they have for the character model of, like, when you have a story mode dialogue. I'll have a picture pop up somewhere on the screen. But overall, like, I was super hyped about this, and then I saw the price points, and it was just like, why? And then, of course, Premium Bandai. That's to be expected with a release like this. Like I said, fairly obscure. This is not something that people are clamoring for. But yeah, overall, definitely it's cool. He comes with his base hair, comes with his base tail, comes with the blue hair, blue tail. It's dope and everything. But yeah, I'm just disappointed, you know. But at the end of the day, like I said, either gonna put your money where your mouth is, not get it, or you're gonna shut up and buy it. It's either one of those two things, you know. But all that being said, I think that's about it. I thought this video was gonna be a bit longer, but like I said, I don't want to give y'all a dreary voice bomb, but this really I can't emphasize it enough. Either way, pre-orders are open if you're interested. I'll put the links in the description. Thank you all for watching. As usual, I always greatly appreciate your support. I greatly appreciate, even interacting with y'all via Instagram for those that DM me on Instagram. And until next time, this has been Bombastic Plastic. Stay fantastic. Have a blessed day.